Hi everybody, I'm Karen Gibbs, Creative Director of Banyan Batiks by Northcott, and you are in the group Karen Gibbs for the love of batiks. Who's ready for color? Who's ready for spring? Who's ready for just color combinations like crazy at your garden centers or in your garden? Or who planted bulbs last fall and is expecting a whole bunch of things to come up if the squirrels didn't eat them first? That'd be me. Okay, so last week I was rating Scott Flanagan's studio. Hello, Scott. And I talked a little bit about the chops, right? And we got some close-up looks of the chops and how to determine, the repeats and all of that kind of stuff, right? The how the chop is made. But once the chop is made, then you got to start to think about how the color is applied, okay? And a lot of times when we talk about color, and as soon as I start talking about color, I start to think about the category that we have created in Banyan Batiks called Color Me Banyan. And the reason for that is it's something I'm super excited about, or it's a way of achieving color and chop applications all mixed together that is just something different. And that can be a feature fabric or feature design in your projects, okay? So you can grab that. You can grab like this one right here, which I love. You can grab that, and that's something to build on, right? Because sometimes a batik wall, you look at it and you're like, oh my goodness, there's so much to choose from. How do I go about putting it together? So then you fall back upon your projects that maybe already kitted or that you see on the quilt pattern, and you're like, okay, I'll just follow the exact same colors. But this is going to be unique to you because these are unique batiks and I want you to try and use them. Okay, so the Color Me Banyan is, like I said, all about, it's a category that we just love the technique. Okay, it can be the technique of the layering the chops or layering the colors or a combination of all those things. So I'm going to go through a few different ones that I have laid in front of me now. Generally, each release we have one or two different Color Me Banyans, and that we focus that kind of technique. Okay, this one is Bearpaw Plaid, and it's in stores right now. Okay, and look at this. Look at how we've got, yes, we've got the plaid, which is hard enough in a technique because it's a geometric. Remember I said one of the hardest things to do is a geometric because you're lining it up. But we've got an ombre. Isn't that way cool? Okay, so you can use these in long piecing. You can put them in a border, obviously. Check out the American Quilter magazine. They have one by Jenny K. Parks that's got the ombre, this one right here, in the border. But this pastel one, we have a design, I think in the lookbook that we featured by Patty Carey of Patty's Patchwork. And it just features long pieces of this and then alternating with like our shadows, which is the hand dyes, right? So this is kind of a different technique. How do you go about doing that? The ombre is in the chop design, right? So it's in, you apply that color first, then you apply the chop very carefully because it is a geometric, and then you bleach it out, and then you apply the background color, right? Okay, so how is that done? You have to apply it and you kind of hand paint it, right? But you don't want definite stripes in this one. And ombre is creating the colors in between the color that you assign. So maybe I've assigned 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 5 colors that I assigned here. But then there's happy marriages, pretty much, okay, of the colors, like the pink and the green. What happens to it? It's an interesting taupey color, right? And if you look really close, you've got some green showing there where maybe the color didn't mix totally, because when you scrunch it up, remember the color travels throughout, right? And sometimes it mixes in one way where it's a little bit darker brown, and maybe in another way where here it's ombreing into the green. So this is a great way to show how to do application of color. All right, so then we've got the earth tone one as well, but I love these. These are in stores now, so check out your Banyan Batiks product finder guide, and it will mention what stores are carrying the Bearpaw Plaid. It's a unique achievement that we've been able to do. I love the pastel ones. They're just gorgeous. And then why stop there, right? Why stop at something just an ombre? Why not do a double chop? So we've done 2 chops, the cream chop and then the green chop with a background of black there, okay? This one has a little bit of the wine color in there with the black. Just stunning, different kind of looks. And this gives me kind of a 3D effect. And this was actually the inspiration for another color Me Banyan that stores are looking at right now. It's called Houndstooth Plaid. Okay, and that won't be in stores until next year. But anyway, or the end of the summer. But it's another color Me Banyan, and stores are looking at it right now. This one is in stores right now, though. Okay. All right. What about rainbow cake? Rainbow cake. You guys have seen those rainbow cakes, right? Every single layer is a different color. Gorgeous colorations, and usually with white frosting on it. And we've had a couple different ones to use for a photo shoot, and then Olivia really likes to eat them. Anyway, rainbow cake is hand-painted stripes, okay? But then we bunched it, or we have accordion styled it, okay, as far as folding, and then we bunched it here, you know, randomly there. So you can get kind of almost a shibori effect in there, all right? So it's not just a hand-painted stripe, but it's how you fold it and how wide your width of fabric is that you fold it, okay? If I were to fold it very, very wide, like this, my color would look a lot different. I wanted something that was a great stripe when you go to cut it up, okay? And then, isn't that a gorgeous one here? This one's coming. Rainbow cake is coming to stores in a month or two, all right? So isn't that just pretty? The oranges and the pinks and the red in there, okay? This is kind of like a cheery, sunny day, I'd say, where we kind of have a cool sunny day in Denver today. And look at that. That is just a rainbow cake. Okay, so a lot of different colors, but the way I've got it folded, you can see very definitely here, it's folded this way, whereas the color is applied this way. So the way you fold it is also important, right? And how you apply the color. I didn't run the color the same way. I ran it opposite, so it almost gives a plaid look to it, okay? Another one that I have right here, and I have a ton of it around to me, is Dot Necessities. You know what? I'm going to flip back to stripes because I just spotted this one. This is in stores. Look at the difference between the color in here and the color in here, right? This has, the folds are much wider as far as the accordion. This, they're a lot narrower, so I can get the changes of color a lot easier. Notice the color is also going with the folds on that one, whereas on this one, they're going opposite the fold. Notice on this one, they have bunches, okay, where I've bunched it almost like a shibori, whereas this is just the hand-painted, the hand-painted stripes. We're mixing a whole bunch of color in there too. Okay, you can see it here. It's more of a pencil look. I call it a pencil stripe. It's thinner, okay? Your hand-painted stripe is a lot thinner, so that means the fold's got to be a lot thinner, and the application of color has to be a lot thinner too. So you're not using like a broad brush stroke, okay? You're using a thinner line. Now, when you think about it, you're still doing 15 yards, and you probably want to use a broader brush stroke to get through it, right? But they're doing thinner lines of color there, and so you have different transitions in that. And you can see some of these here, more the earthy tones, okay? All right, switching to dots because I adore them, okay? Everybody loves a good polka dot. This one, Dot Necessities 2, the stores are seeing right now as well. So if you have a local quilt shop that you love this, make sure you tell them and have them bring it in. So this is not in stores yet. Dot Necessities. Now, look at the print on that, okay? This is a feature fabric, right? So that means you can take all of the colors that are in there and just draw from it. You could use this as a border, all right? But if I cut it into a 4x4, you still get a lot of the dots in there, all right? So what's the first color that's applied? Let's look on this one right here because it's easier to tell. What's the first color that's applied? It's the white. Okay, and it's not a straight white, is it? Look, I've got some pastels in there, all right? So it's not a straight white, but that's the first color that's applied. And then the chop for these filled in dots as well as the rings is applied to hold that color down. Then it's bleached out, and then the next color is applied. What's the next color? The next color is these guys, Okay, and it's not one straight color, is it? It's saturated, very saturated color. You've got your purples and your blues in there, right? And then the chops applied for this particular dot. And yes, they had to be drawn like that. So they're not like round circles. This is easier to tell as a chop. This looks like a kind of, we splattered some paint, right? But that was actually drawn and created out of copper to mimic exactly how we drew it. Okay, once that is applied, the wax is applied. So the wax is holding this color down. The wax is then going to hold this color down. So you've got double wax, and then you're going to bleach it, and then you're going to scrunch it up with all of that wax in there and apply the background colors. And you can see there's a lot of variance of color in there as well. So there's maybe 2 to 3 colors in the background, and then at least 3 to 4 in this particular motif, and then 2 to 3 I think I assigned in this here. It goes from light blue and pink to white, but there's a lot of color going on in each one of these, and you can see a lot of different colors in this one. Okay, kind of like a periwinkle purple with the blues and the greens. So a lot going on as far as the colors in these, and a bigger piece over here, which is great. Okay, this one, rainbow bright, right? And then we've got the blue and kind of a magenta kind of pink going on there. All right, so the Color Me Banyans are a way to celebrate batiks. All right, so ask at your local quilt shop, say, hey, do you have any of the Color Me Banyans? I want to see those. I want you to bring those in because they are wonderful for your feature or your dominant print and your focus fabric in your projects. You can use them for your borders, you can use them for big block quilts, but even, as I said, for the smaller 4-inch pieces, they cut up really, really beautifully. Okay, so thanks for joining me today. I'm Karen Gibbs, and you are in Karen Gibbs for the Love of Batiks.